Welcome. This is the regular meeting of the Rancho Mirage City Council and Community Services District, Energy Authority, Housing Authority, Joint Powers Finance Authority, Library and Observatory, and Redevelopment Successor Agency Boards. It is Thursday, February 19th, and it is now 1 o'clock. Would all of you please stand for our flag salute, and I'm asking Mayor Pro Tem Michael O'Keefe to lead us in the pledge.
Please join me in saluting our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, may we have the roll call, please?
Certainly. Councilmember Downs?
I'm here.
Councilmember Fromberg-Edelstein?
Here.
Councilmember Weil?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem O'Keefe?
Here.
And Mayor Mulatto.
Here. The next item on our agenda is presentations, and we'd like to welcome Ryland Penta, Vice President of Leadership Coachella Valley. He's going to provide us an update today. And also Board Member Jerry Neighbors.
Could we have our slide deck, possibly? Fantastic. All right, well, Mayor, members of council, city staff, and others, my name is Ryland Penta, and I have the honor of being a staff member at the City of Palm Desert, so it's a great pleasure to be here today, but I also have the pleasure to serve as Vice President of Leadership Coachella Valley alongside.
My name is Jerry Neighbors, and I am a self-employed senior advocate in the Valley and serve as our board member, as our secretary. Thank you very much for having us today.
Leadership Coachella Valley is now on our 25th year. And if you're familiar with the program, as I'm sure many of you are, it is a great entrance for many different individuals to get an experience of the vast nature of our region. We get a group of approximately 45 to 50 people together every month. They learn about different themes in the Valley. They get to contribute to a class project. And actually, we were just speaking, our class project, we both graduated in 2023, was here in Rancho Mirage at the Children's Discovery Museum, where we helped rebuild their trike path. And it incorporates the sense of community and also collaboration. And before I go any further, I also have to thank you all so much for attending our welcome ceremony in September. You were the only city council to come out all together, and that was such an honor and felt very powerful. You'll see here that we have various sessions each month. They are listed there. They range in all different fields, so you really get a breadth of our valley from the Banning-Beaumont side all the way down to the Salton Sea. There are so many different topics considered that it really opens the eyes to the participants, and they really understand what is needed in this valley, what is being achieved, and how they can contribute in other facets. So we look at Leadership Coachella Valley as kind of a 5-course benefit to our area. It develops place-based leadership for those that participate. It brings regional awareness. We really want others to see outside of their field of professional work, but also outside their community, what is happening, how they can contribute. It creates a lasting network. Jerry and I had no connection point prior to LCV, and here we are contributing to this group and working in other ways. It is an economic driver. I put that there because while we don't open businesses, every session we do a happy hour or some type of connect and reflect, as we call it, and we will try to find a local business or restaurant, coffee shop. Tomorrow actually is where we're going for that. And that really gives that drive to understand new spaces, new foods, new individuals, and of course all the presenters that are in each session, they typically represent some type of organization that needs support or has done some incredible work. And lastly, it encourages volunteerism. You can see this photo from 2015. Every class does a class project like ours, and it contributes to, again, that that area where they need to focus, whatever organization they pick. Ours was the Children's Discovery Museum, but this year the group has picked the ABC Recovery Center, which is in Indio. So great organizations that need the support, and we're happy to contribute where we can. And I'll pass it off to Jerry.
So we have been going for 25 strong years, and we are happy to say that we have over 940 people that have participated in it, and we are net cast wide throughout the valley and deep, and we really like to support each other where we can. We partner a lot with our school districts, our cities like yourselves, all 9 of them, public agencies, and then our nonprofits. We're very much in support of all of them to really all of us have something that really resonates with us, and we want to help share what that is so they can pour back into our community to help be more of a supporter. Did I go the wrong way?
Oh, you did, right?
Okay. So the ways that we that are strengthening our community is learning on what's going on and stay informed. So we really work hard to stay informed with all of our different cities so we can share with our class on what's going on with Rancho Mirage. How can they get plugged in? Is there something that they'd like to participate in, be part of? We do a lot of alumni gatherings as well because we want to make sure that we're staying connected with the 900 plus people that we have gotten in contact with over the 25 years and make sure that we're still staying connected to support each other, not only in our businesses, but also in the community and in nonprofit serving and to help others. So it's very important for us that we just keep everything going in a strong, positive, and uplifting way where it's not in a competition for each other, because a lot of us are in the same type of a business, but we're supporting each other out of love and making sure that we are growing together in a healthy way within our community. We also would like to share that we'd love to have anybody from Rancho Mirage open to the public to please encourage them to join Leadership Coachella Valley. It is something where people would fill out an application. We get about 100 150 applications per year, and we narrow that down to 45 because we really want to make sure that the classes are small enough where we can get to know them, get to know what their love is, help them grow, help to share where their heart is so that we can help teach them more about our community to get more involved. So we're here to share, to say, get the word out, let the people know that they're welcome to go online and participate, and then we would love to go forward in another 25 years to come. And in saying that, we do have an anniversary celebration next week. We'd love to see you all if you can make it. It's at the Surf Club in Palm Springs, and it's from 6 to 8 o'clock, and we're celebrating our 25 years. We invited all of our alumni. Our original first president will be there, and we'll really be celebrating the years together. So, and then of course at the end, we have a graduation. Again, it is our pleasure when you show up that to support that these members that are getting involved. It really is meaningful when you're there with us too. So we appreciate your support. Like Rylan said in the beginning, when you came to our opening ceremony, was quite impactful. So thank you for that.
And in parting, we just wanted to thank you. This is just an informational update. We have not ever presented at council meetings. We just want to make sure that we continue to get the word out, and also we just are so thankful for everything you guys have done. This is Leadership Coachella Valley is a nonprofit, but it's a collaboration of like minds from chambers of commerce and city councils and city staff, and we're just so fortunate to be part of this whole game. So, Any questions? We're happy to answer them.
Are there any questions? No, but I would like to congratulate you on your 25th anniversary, and it's very impressive to see the collective talent and collaboration that has occurred not only all these years, but that you're willing to share. And Rylan, you're a testament to the fact that occasionally another municipality will let you cross into city bounds.
Right. Yeah.
we all have friendly territory, but that also it's a great messaging in that we do work on a collaborative effort throughout the nine cities. So thank you for your continued work. We're thrilled to be a part of it, and thank you for coming today. to present.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Perfect.
Next item on the agenda is council member comments. I want to touch on something, if I may, before we go into council member comments, and it's about council member comments, but also public comments. Public comments are welcome. We welcome them not only from our residents, but weekly we have people that come that do not live in our city that come to the dais or come to the podium to address the council. And we welcome those comments. We ask that they be respectful and that they remain with the topic matter at hand during an agenda item. And then during non-agenda public comments, you're welcome to share your comments. As far as our council members are concerned, we know our rules and we need to stay with them and do not go back and revisit on an item that has already been discussed, and stay with the topic at hand, if we will, please. And I'm going to ask that our city attorney speak to a couple of details with regards to public comments before we move forward.
Thank you, Mayor. For the benefit of the council as well as the public, as we all know, the public during public comments have First Amendment rights with respect to speaking at open comment or during the open public comment period on matters not on the agenda but within the subject matter jurisdiction. By way of reference, as you may recall, a few years ago, the Brown Act was revised to allow the council to remove individuals who are actually disrupting the meeting. So I just wanted to make you aware that should a disruption occur by a specific member or members of the public, there are available tools to either remove specific individuals upon first a warning that they're actually violating or disrupting the meeting, and then request them to leave, and or the city can consider removing everyone from the audience and reconvene once the chambers have been cleared. So I just wanted to remind you of the options available to you under the Brown Act.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. We'll start council member comments this afternoon with Council Member Eve Fromberg Edelstein.
I just wanted to make a brief comment. It was an interesting week when it starts out with the passing of two people, Robert Duvall, which is just pop culture, but more importantly, Jesse Jackson. And speaking as a child of the 80s, recognizing I was not alive during the civil rights movement, I only knew Jesse Jackson as the voice of the Democratic Party, running for president 2 times unsuccessfully, but the awareness he brought to that and to the shaping of the Democratic Party. And I just think that it is remiss to not mention the legacy he's left on culture, race, politics. It's thought that without Jesse Jackson, there may never have been a Barack Obama. And I just think it's interesting to make a comment and say, I don't know what this country would have looked like without the involvement of Jesse Jackson. And that was all that I wanted to say.
Very nice. Councilmember Downs.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So 3 items that I wanted to speak to today. First has to do with the Omni Hotel and the Rancho Las Palmas Homeowners Association. So many of you are aware that at a recent council meeting, there were a number of homeowners from Rancho Las Palmas who came to the podium here to talk about plans that the Omni had to make some changes to the golf course. And the complaints that they had, that they made to us had to do with, number one, that they said that the Omni had signed agreements with them that required the Omni to consult with them if the Omni was going to make changes to that golf course. Number two, they suggested that the Omni had not done the job of due diligence in seeking permits from the city to begin those changes. And number three, that the Omni had not talked to the Coachella Valley Water District about the changes that they hoped to make in a flood control channel. Well, it turns out that all 3 of those complaints are absolutely correct. The Omni does have an obligation to consult with the homeowners. The Omni does have an obligation to seek permits from the city before they started that work. And the Omni does have an obligation to seek approval from the CVWD to make changes in that flood control channel. Well, 2 things have happened in the past week. One is that a senior executive officer from Omni's parent company late in the day last Friday had a conversation with our city manager, and on Tuesday morning I had a meeting with a committee that is comprised of members of the hotel management as well as members of the HOA. And the Omni has allowed as how that they did make some mistakes, and they apologize for those mistakes. They have said that they will, in fact, consult with the homeowners, they will seek appropriate permits from the city, and that they will seek appropriate approvals from the CVWD. They have decided that they will delay the work that they plan to do on the golf course for 1 year to make time for those actions to take place. And they've also agreed to remove all of the equipment that they put on that golf course. And they did say at the meeting on Tuesday that sometime in the coming weeks, as soon as the equipment is removed, that they do plan to reopen that golf course. So good news for the homeowners. I thank them for coming here to speak to us, and I think that's a good outcome for the Omni and the homeowners. Now, a lot of work needs to be done, and we'll see how this shakes out over the next year. But from my perspective, I think that the Omni is, at this point, moving in the right direction. The second item that I wanted to talk to today has to do with CV Rail. I mentioned this at a council meeting a couple of weeks ago, that the Riverside County Transportation Commission was attempting to seek some CEQA relief on the CV Rail project. If they do get CEQA relief, it will result in savings of tens of millions of dollars and probably years in the process of finally getting CV Rail to be a reality. CV Rail is important to this desert. It's important for economic reasons. Anytime that we make it easier for transportation and travel from coastal Southern California here to the desert, we improve the economy. If we improve the economy, we raise the standard of living, and we raise the quality of life in our cities. So CV Rail is important for our city. Well, a bill was introduced on on February 11th, with bipartisan support in the state legislature. And Greg Wallace, who represents us in this city, was one of the sponsors of that legislation. It does have bipartisan support. So if it is passed during the session of the legislature, it will mean that CV Rail will become a reality more quickly here in the desert. And the third thing that I wanted to speak to today has to do with an article that appeared in yesterday's Desert Sun. So on the front page of the Desert Sun, there was an article about the Palm Springs City Council considering a switch back to an elected mayor. Now, there are 3 cities in the Coachella Valley that do have elected mayors. Those cities are Desert Hot Springs, La Quinta, and Coachella. All of the rest of the cities in the Coachella Valley do as we do. We operate with a rotational mayor system. Now, the reason that I wanted to speak to this today is because I'm guessing that article on the front page of the paper may spark some questions on the part of residents of Rancho Mirage as to why we have a rotational mayor system. Now, an elected mayor, I think, makes a lot of sense in a large city with complex government and complex administration. But ours is a small city. We don't have big city problems. Ours is a very small city, and our system of mayoral rotation has made sense for us for decades now. So the Rancho Mirage approach to council service at large, to no districting, and to mayoral rotation has served our city well. Some good examples, I mentioned this at a recent council meeting, has to do with our wireless master plan. So the wireless master plan allows us to identify areas of the city where we need to build cell infrastructure to make cell phone communication easier for our residents and for our businesses. Well, I don't want to be in a position where I'm trying to get cell infrastructure in my district at the expense of my other council members. I don't think that's a good idea. I think what's best for me and for my council colleagues is if we seek the best place in this entire city to build cell phone infrastructure. That's just one example. And as far as mayoral rotation is concerned, what it does is it removes strife, political strife on this council. It allows us to concentrate on issues like that wireless master plan that I just mentioned. It takes political strife out of the equation. It causes me not to be at odds with my council colleagues as to who will serve as council, as mayor of this council of this city next year. One of the arguments that somebody sometimes makes, that a person in the city sometimes makes, is that they want one point of accountability. I know who the point of accountability is. She's sitting right there, the mayor of this city. Next year it'll be Michael. I know who's going to rotate into mayor next year and the year after. I know who I need to respect as the mayor of the city. And I don't have any problem with that. I think it's the right thing for us to do. I think that our mayoral rotation system and our system of council members elected at large has served this city well for decades and will continue to do so for decades to come. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Ted Weil.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll merely tag on to Councilmember Downs' last comment regarding the rotational of the mayor. To me, and I think you did touch on this, it maintains harmony on the city council. You find your colleagues that you are working with for the betterment of the entire city. You are not campaigning for a particular office. You know your time will come, you'll get your turn, and in the meantime, you'll be working for the betterment of the city of Rancho Mirage, which is the reason that we're here in the first place. With that, I'll make a couple of comments today. The first has to do with the Rancho Mirage night with the Firebirds. I'm excited to invite our community to the city series, Rancho Mirage Night with the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Join us on Sunday, March 8 at 3 p.m. at Acrisure Arena as the Firebirds take on the Calgary Wranglers. This evening is about celebrating Rancho Mirage pride, recognizing our residents, businesses, and community leaders who make our city shine. Throughout the game, there will be special in-game recognitions, surprise moments, and appearances by the mayor and city council. Families can enjoy photo opportunities with our city mascot, and fans can purchase the limited time Rancho Rita specialty cocktail created just for Rancho Mirage night. The first 100 fans will receive a special Rancho Mirage keepsake. Residents can access exclusive discounts of approximately 15 to 25% off standard ticket pricing, depending on seating availability. All tickets are mobile and can be accessed through CV Firebirds app. We encourage everyone to bring family, friends, and neighbors and join us as Rancho Mirage Pride takes center ice. Again, one more opportunity for the residents and public to participate with us. Lastly, I'd like to mention someone that does an incredible job in our community. It's my distinct pleasure to once again recognize a well-deserved honor as we celebrate Terry Kidover for her dedicated service to the children of our community. On February 6, 2006, Terry was honored at the 5th annual Women of Wonder Luncheon as a Woman of Wonder by Variety Children's Charity of the Desert, an award that celebrates women whose leadership, compassion, and commitment have made a profound and lasting impact on the lives of children throughout the Coachella Valley. Through her unwavering dedication, Terry has positively touched the lives of all children in our community, helping them thrive, develop, and achieve their potential. She has also been a champion for children with special needs, ensuring they receive the critical support and resources they require. Her work reflects generosity, strength, and enduring commitment to lifting up others and strengthening our community. Terry, your service truly embodies the very best of who we are. On behalf of the entire City Council, we proudly congratulate you on this recognition and sincerely thank you for the extraordinary difference you continue to make. Congratulations, and again, thank you for your service. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem O'Keefe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No comments today.
I have just a couple. One, I'd like to congratulate the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce. They just celebrated their Rammy Awards, honoring and recognizing outstanding businesses and members through our community. We wish them continued success and look forward to another prosperous year. And then to build on Councilmember Ted Weil's comments with regards to the Rancho Mirage night at the Firebirds, I had the pleasure of throwing out the first pitch at the Rancho Mirage Day of Power Baseball. I want to thank Andrew Starkey and his team. I was told I threw the ball like a boss, and I got it across home plate, little on the inside. And but it was good. The catcher gave me a thumbs up. Now, I don't know if he was just being nice or if it was really a good throw. But
Can you pull that video up for us, Gabe?
there are pictures and witnesses.
Madam Mayor, I was there. You did a great job throwing
Thank
that
you
pitch.
very much. I used to play left field, when I was in high school. At any rate, moving on. Next item on the agenda is city manager comments and reports.
None today, Madam Mayor.
And we'll move on to the consent calendar.
Thank you. The members of the council have 4 items on the consent calendar for consideration, items 5A through 5D. Item 5A is the February 5th, 2026 regular city council meeting minutes. Item 5B is to adopt a resolution to approve the city's statement of investment policy. Item 5C are the contracts, and 5D are demands. Before we go to council comments or questions, I'll ask the city clerk to take public comment on the consent calendar.
Thank you. Our first speaker is Christian Donovan.
Welcome.
Hi there. Thanks for your time. My name is Christian Donovan, and I'm here to speak in opposition to the 24-month, $140,000 amendment for the Flock Safety Automatic License Plate Recognition System. This isn't about being pro-police or anti-technology. It's about whether this contract aligns with the city's stated values, starting with responsible use of public resources. We are being asked to spend $140,000 over 2 years on a system that creates a mass database of vehicle movements. These cameras don't just capture plates connected to crimes, they record everyone. Parents driving to school, residents attending religious services, visitors coming to medical appointments, journalists meeting sources, law-abiding people going about their lives. The question is not whether the system can occasionally help solve a case. The question is whether continuous dragnet-style surveillance of the entire community is a proportional and responsible use of taxpayer dollars. Secondly, adherence to federal, state, and local regulations. Across the country, civil liberty groups, including the ACLU, have raised concerns about ALPR networks enabling long-term tracking without a warrant. Public reporting has shown that ALPR data can be shared across jurisdictions and accessed by outside agencies, sometimes with minimal oversight. In some cases, reporting has shown data being retained for extended periods, creating a historical map of people's movements. Even when technically legal, this kind of persistent location tracking exists in a gray area between policy and constitutional principle. The Supreme Court has already recognized in cases like Carpenter v. United States that long-term tracking of individuals raises serious Fourth Amendment concerns. Are we confident our policies are strong enough? Are they publicly accessible? Are they audited? Is data access logged and reviewed? Is there a strict retention limit? Or are we approving the technology first and trusting the safeguards will sort themselves out later? Thirdly, responsible governance and community trust. Flock markets these systems as crime-fighting tools, but numerous investigative reports have shown that these camera networks create searchable vehicle databases that can be queried by plate number, location, and time. That power is enormous, and enormous power demands enormous oversight. Without strict limits, this becomes infrastructure for tracking political gatherings, protests, immigration-sensitive communities, or simply someone in authority decides to look up. Even if no one intends abuse, the system normalizes surveillance. It shifts the relationship between residents and their city from community to modern territory. Finally, support and promote cultural, historical, educational, and charitable events. Ask yourself this: when people attend a cultural festival, a school fundraiser, a historical commemoration, or charitable gathering, do we want them wondering whether their presence is being logged into a law enforcement database? Public participation thrives in an atmosphere of trust, not surveillance. The contract may seem routine, it may seem administrative, but it represents a choice about the kind of city we want to be. If we are serious about responsible use of public resources, strict adherence to constitutional principles, and fostering a culture of civic engagement, then we should pause this contract, demand transparent policies, independent audits, strict data retention limits, and meaningful public oversight before expanding or extending the system. Technology should serve the people. It should not quietly map them. Thank you.
Next speaker is Brad Anderson.
Good afternoon, Brad Anderson, currently live in the city of Rancho Mirage. I wanted to speak on the consent items today, A, C, and D. I'll start with A, which is the minutes of the last city council meeting. I did write comments about everything I'll be speaking about today and some additional items that was brought up at the last meeting, so hopefully you can review those. But I'm opposed to everything. The minutes are inaccurate and incomplete, so those need to be I guess, corrected. And then contracts, as the previous speaker spoke about the flock contract, I'm in a strong opposition to that. Again, I wrote public comments, and they all submitted for the public records, more or less mirroring what was spoken about before. And I don't think most residents know. Everybody, I have a lot of people ask me what those are, and I just want to inform the city again that the city neglected to do the correct actions when they, through the California state law, when they installed those throughout the city. And I guess back to the comment about the people of Rancho Mirage, those are $5,000 in maintenance or lease agreement for those units per year. So when you see one of those, they're $5,000. So it's a cost, and of course they're mounted on private property and city rights of way, and they are installed in the city to monitor private properties at taxpayers' expense. And the other contract I won't mention, I did write some comments about that, and back down to demands, which I will bring up in closed session too, or the closed session comments. I'm concerned because we had apparently a claim that was settled for $50,000 plus the attorney fees, well, over $100,000. So hopefully the city attorney can address that, and that's all I have. Thank you.
That was the last speaker card. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak on the consent calendar? That was the last speaker.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public hearings.
Move to approve the
I'm
consent
sorry,
calendar.
my apologies.
I move to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Please vote.
Give me 1 second. Okay, there you go. Motion carries 5-0.
Jumping ahead. Item number 6A in public hearings, annexation number 204 to Community Facilities District number 1 in connection with preliminary development plan case number PDP 25-0003, the Global Wildlife Discovery Museum, located on Highway 111 south of the Atrium Shopping Center. And Jacob De La Cruz, financial analyst, will report on this.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Council. This item is to hold a public hearing for annexation 204 into Community Facilities District Number 1. This is the second and final step in the city's annexation process for developments within the city's jurisdiction. The first step was considered and approved at the January 15th council meeting. The territory is comprised of 3 parcels totaling approximately 6.76 acres. It should be noted that the 3 parcels all had separate owners when the annexation was initially brought to council last month. However, 2 of the parcels changed ownership last week on Friday, February 13th. The parcels ending in 023 and 028 were owned by Grit Development and Morris Communication, respectively, and were purchased by RSH Ralph Properties, LLC, in preparation for this project. A new ballot was sent to the new owners and has been received in time for today's special election. At conclusion of today's public hearing, provided written protests have not been filed and in absence of majority protests, the City Council may consider adoption of the attached resolution, calling a special election, declaring the results of the election, determining the validity of prior proceedings, approving the annexation of the territory, and directing the recording of an amendment to the notice of special tax lien. Staff recommends approval, and that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Mayor, I did not receive any speaker cards. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to provide public testimony on public hearing item 6A? Seeing none, would you like me to read the election results?
Please.
The ballot for 7 of the eligible votes was received on February 16th, 2026, and was in favor. The ballot for the 1 additional eligible vote was also received on February 16th, 2026, and was also in favor. Therefore, votes cast in favor equal 100% of total votes cast.
Thank you. Are there any council comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adopt?
I'll go ahead and make the motion. That the council adopt resolution number 2026 next in order, calling an election on levying a special tax within the area proposed to be annexed to Community Facilities District Number 1, declaring the election results, approving the annexation of the territory, and directing the recordation of the amendment of the notice of special tax lien.
I'll second that.
Please vote.
Motion carries 5-0.
Next item on the agenda, campaign contribution limits for city council candidates. And our city clerk, Christy Ramos, will report on this. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and council members. The California Political Reform Act was enacted by the California voters in 1974 and includes provisions that regulate campaign finance, lobbying activity, and conflict of interest. Since 2021, the act has required that state-established campaign contribution limits for state candidates be applied to candidates for city and county offices unless the city or county imposed its own campaign contribution limit. The current state-imposed contribution limit is $5,900 per contributor. The City of Rancho Mirage has not imposed its own contribution limit and currently defaults to the state limit. The act authorizes cities to impose campaign contribution limits greater or smaller than the limit imposed by the state. Staff met with a city council subcommittee to review options regarding this subject, and the subcommittee's recommendation was to adopt a resolution establishing no campaign contribution limits for city council candidates. That concludes my report, and I could take public comment if you'd like. Okay, first speaker is Brad Anderson.
Hello, Brad Anderson, currently live in the city of Rancho Mirage. I wanted to speak on this item briefly. I did write some comments, so hopefully you had a chance to look at those. Hopefully they were submitted or they got here in time. I guess I'm in support of this. I see no reason not to have this. I am concerned about the other part of government. We're talking about a subcommittee, and maybe in the future you can be more transparent on these subcommittees and who are on them and who assigns them and the topics and how many subcommittees we have and because that's all dark information for the public, the general public. And I'm more or less involved, and if I don't know, nobody does. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the only speaker card. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this item? That was the only speaker.
I'll now invite council comments.
I do, Madam Mayor, if I may. So I think that this is an item that we should pass, but with an adjustment. The reason that I think that we should pass this item, I won't get into the weeds and go into the detail, but if the city adopts a limit, a campaign contribution limit that is different from the state's campaign contribution limits, it makes it easier administratively for those who wish to run for council to do so, whether we sit on the council now or whether it's someone who has run in the past who wants to run again in the future. The paperwork filings are simply simpler and easier. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't full disclosure. So the campaign finance filings that we need to make, that candidates for council need to make, which shows every dollar that goes into your campaign and every dollar that goes out, will not change at all. All of those still will be submitted to the city and to the FPPC. That doesn't change one bit. All this does is it simply makes it simpler and easier for us to file our documentation and for the city to track that documentation. So I do think we should pass this. However, I do believe, after hearing some public comments, and particularly after reading a letter from one of our residents who expressed his concerns very clearly and very well, I do think that it is a good idea to have a limit of some sort. I think an unlimited number, I'm just uncomfortable with the concept of an unlimited number on a campaign contribution. Now, I've never received a campaign contribution for more than about $500 in all the time that I've been on the city council. I don't know that, I think a couple of us may have received something larger than that, but I don't think any of us have ever received anything as large as $5,900 as an example. So I don't think that's a problem. I think the issue is simply a matter of public perception. I think an unlimited number just sends the wrong message. So I think we should pass this, but I think we should pass it with an adjustment. And the adjustment is that I think there should be a campaign contribution limit. And I'd suggest, I'm certainly happy to hear suggestions from other council members, but I think the number ought to be, if the state number is $5,900, let's make ours $6,000, just so it's different enough so that we can make it simpler and easier for us to comply with the requirements to file and for city staff to also follow the requirements of tracking campaign contributions. My opinion, $6,000 should be the number.
Thank you.
I'd like to make some comments. In looking at this issue, I see it from a different perspective based on my other job. So I'm a business attorney in town. I do a corporate compliance formation. I deal with a lot of state agencies doing paperwork for people that find the amount of paperwork required from the state of California to be onerous, confusing, and not clear. I can say that in all the time that I've done those forms and figured them out, I have found the campaign reporting statutes and requirements to be the most onerous I've encountered in my time. I'm a lifelong resident of the state of California, and I love the state of California. However, there is possibly no state better at creating forms than the state of California, and creating fees as the state of California. For viable reasons, some are great, some aren't. Some are for transparency reasons, some are just to be onerous, some are to support budgets. And I don't decide which is the purpose. I just do them because they are required by the law. I further have another level because I'm an attorney, and the only other agency I found that's as onerous is the state of California, the California Bar of the state of California, which is additionally become onerous, only more so recently with the controversies around trust accounting. And so now I find the implication to be that all attorneys don't manage their trust accounts because one didn't. And that, to me, is not true. We have one of the most ethically monitored professions in the world, and that hasn't changed since I've been an attorney for almost 30 years. My father's been one for 50. Nonetheless, I recognize that those things are required and necessary, and they must do them. However, I think that there is a point when the amount of the paperwork becomes onerous and forces people not to want to participate in the process because it is so onerous to report. I found when we looked at this issue that the state limit, which is just another layer of that, I don't know if it necessarily creates more ethical work on the part of people running for council, on the money that they'll accept. I also think that what the state sees at a larger level of campaigns at a state level or a federal level is not the same as for those running for city office. Nonetheless, it's the same standard applied to everybody. But if there's ways to make this easier for people to run and participate in the system, I am all for that, being that most people have to hire me to help them participate in state systems on many levels in this state, which I think is sometimes an undue burden to bear. So I agree. That is why I support the fact that we lift the limit. I prefer the number of 7,500 because I think that it makes it a justifiable amount where it's still a again, with the idea that of what Councilmember Downs said, it's all still very transparent. It all still must be reported, but it's just to what level you have to report and how many forms you have to complete, which I think will make it easier for people to engage in the process rather than making it easier for people to be corrupted within the process. I don't see the two as aligning. So that's my opinion, but I will defer to my council members on the limit that we're all comfortable with. I just feel like $100 over, that it feels more symbolic than realistic and reasonable for what we have to participate in and the process that we're trying to make easier. Those are my comments.
Madam Mayor, I will defer to the $7,500 number.
There we go. Are there any other council comments?
I have a question. Thank you, Madam Mayor. My understanding is that removing the limit of the state to have no limit made the process simpler and more open to more people. I don't understand now the new limit, which is almost the same as the state limit. Maybe city attorney can explain to me, what is the advantage of having a slightly different limit?
Certainly. So one of the things that came by that law a few years ago, which imparted the state limits on the city council limits, was an additional administrative burden with respect to not necessarily filing for elections, but specifically with respect to some of the accounting procedures and forms you have to fill out. And so just by virtue of the city adopting a limit that differs from the state default, it alleviates those administrative burdens. So it's not a financial, I'm not discussing this sort of financial policy, but just by having a different limit than the state, you alleviate those sort of administrative burdens, as I'll call them, to ease running for election and some of the paperwork that goes along with refiling for future elections as well.
Mayor, if I may, I just did want to clarify that when we're talking about the limit, it is per contributor per election. So it's not overall, say it's 6,000, 7,500. It's not a candidate can only receive 7,500 overall per election. It's per single contributor per election.
Yes, we've had some residents who were of the perception or misinformation that that we were just opening sky's the limit for campaign donations. And we're a city of less than 22,000 people. And to have, no one's going to give us a donation of $75,000 or $50,000. That just doesn't happen here. And I think on the flip side, there were residents that were thinking that you could only seek donations up to $59,000 for $5,900 for your entire campaign. And with the cost of printing and signs and just all the filings and the professional individuals, such as attorneys or campaign managers or what have you, a candidate would request for those services far exceeds that $5,900. So I appreciate what our council members, the subcommittee, had sought in trying to make it easier for any of the residents that want to come forward and run for city council. This alleviates a lot of the burden. And with that,
Madam Mayor, if I could just interject, staff is going to request that essentially we can take the council's feedback, but we will need to amend the resolution and bring it back. So one of the requirements that we're going to have to add to the resolution that's not in there now with this new limit of what I was hearing of $7,500 is you need to put in the rules into the resolution if there's a violation. And so there needs to be an enforcement component to enforce the rule of $7,500. The original way this was written, when it was unlimited, there's nothing to enforce. So those enforcement procedures are not within the resolution. Staff needs time to go back, put in this new limit, and then add back in the enforcement provisions into the resolution. So we would request if there's a direction from the council of $7,500, you can take action on that. But we would like to or we need to add those enforcement provisions back into the resolution and bring that back at a future meeting.
I agree, the enforcement provisions need to be in there. That just promotes transparency.
And
Can
if
I
I can-
ask a question of the city manager then, or the city attorney? So if we are to set a new limit, and it is now to require an enforcement process and a penalty, are we now adding back in what we were trying to make easier? Or do we believe that it would still be streamlined by raising the limit, even if we have to redraft penalties?
Yeah, so as Councilmember Downs stated, right, it's not about, all the transparency forms are still there, all of that is still there. It's the administrative paperwork, that administrative burden goes away if you adopt separate rules. And so those are the hurdles that you were referencing that make it difficult for people to run for office because it's so complicated. You're essentially making it a little easier without touching the transparency aspect of it. These are administrative aspects of the campaign. So you're still achieving the goal of making it easier on any candidate for city council, at the same time preserving transparency. And then, yes, we will need to add this enforcement language into our own resolution.
And just quickly to add to that, and I apologize if it was stated earlier, if you follow the state default rules, the FPPC is the body responsible for enforcing that. Because we'd have our own local rule, our own local limits, now the city takes on that new task of actually enforcing it. So the FPPC wouldn't step in if someone violated your limitations ordinance. It would actually be the city, which is what we'll be crafting and bringing forward to you, that will actually be instituting the action for the violation and the penalty.
Okay. Thank you.
May I make a motion, Madam Mayor? And by the way, I apologize to city staff and to city attorney for giving you some additional work here. But the motion would be that we adjust this measure to include a $7,500 campaign contribution limit, number one. And number two, that we delay a final decision on this measure until the next council meeting to give staff time to develop enforcement language.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. We now open the next item, non-agenda public comments. Madam Clerk?
First speaker is Susan Ragsdale.
Hello, Madam Mayor and City Council members and staff. Happy New Year of the Fire Horse in Chinese astrology. It's a very exciting transformation that's happening in our entire global culture. I've been investigating these kinds of things lately, and it's fascinating. I don't know if any of you feel the extreme changes we're going through. AI is one of the potential very different parts of our culture. I'm here because I really feel I deserve some kind of acknowledgement for what I've been through and the way I've been mistreated. I don't mean to keep bringing negative things up. However, it's extraordinarily serious because it's 3 federal crimes and elder abuse. And I have come here so many times to try and show you that I'm telling the truth. I've written my reports over and over from every angle, every style, and I just get completely ignored. And this is very much a lack of accountability for something extraordinarily serious, which I believe I have proven. And I can't explain. I have to keep coming back because I've been harmed so seriously. Look at me, I'm on a walker now. I'm, 100 pounds. And I don't know if any of you read any of my emails. I've been making these slideshows to show you that I'm very heart-centered. I've been, creating artwork all about love and compassion forever, really. And the LA Times, I was discovered by the LA Times when I was only 25. This is a home magazine cover. This was the first illustrated cover they ever had in 1978. During the 1984 Olympics, I was chosen to be the official creator of the buttons that were at all the venues. These are collector's items now. That was a really exciting project for me. And I know Ted is very much in love with UCLA, my alma mater. And I was the graphic designer for UCLA, and then I freelanced for them. But I want to show you, I don't know if you read my emails, but I'm running out of time. My grandfather and great-grandfather were tile men. And so I was really enthusiastic about UCLA's old architecture, and I used it in my graphic designs. They have these relief sculptures like my grandfather used to make. Here's 2 little invitations for UCLA. I also have, this is a gift for you, Mayor. It might not be your cup of tea. This is Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, and his 2 wives. And I created this, so I want you to have it. If you could re-gift it, if you'd like to.
Thank you.
I really would appreciate if you would please give me the attention that I deserve. I really do. I don't mean to be negative. I really don't. I just need help. Please help me. I've offered all kinds of solutions for helping me. I can do artwork for you. I'm dying to. Okay, thanks.
Wally Melendez?
Good afternoon to everyone. Somebody said local politics is a microcosm of national politics. National politics spills over into world politics or geopolitics. On the internet, if it's true, sometimes you don't know if what's on the internet is true or not. And I believe a lot of stuff, the internet, a lot of things in the internet get hacked. So sometimes you don't know if what you're seeing and hearing on the internet is true or not. So it gives you a pause to think if what you're seeing on the internet is actually true or not. But what I'm referring to is that right now there are the three most dangerous navies in the world over by the Persian Gulf, and all 3 supposedly are doing exercises in that area. Why? Because of the Hormuz Strait, from where a lot of oil goes through. It's not a good thing. Convicted felon Donald Trump is responsible for this. I emphasize that. We need a rational person to be the leader of the United States of America. Right now, we are losing all respect from all over the world on account of convicted felon Donald Trump. We live in abnormal times. We need to get rational. Another thing before I leave, I resent this self-righteousness that's spouted from the bully pulpit.
The next speaker is Brad Anderson.
Hi again, Brad Anderson, currently in the city of Rancho Mirage, living. Like the previous speaker spoke, I think he was mentioning or referring to the rotating mayor's comments earlier concerning people coming in from out of the city, and I welcome it. And I don't think anybody. Now you got to remember, I had a speaker here too. That was evicted from Rancho Mirage, and she has a complaint, and so she's not currently living in the city, but she's more than welcome by me to voice her complaint to this councilor. So, and at the last city council meeting, there was some confusion from the city manager concerning my comments. I did write some comments and submitted them. So if anybody's interested in what really happened and maybe move away from this narrative that the city council is trying to build and look for the truth, you'll find it in my writings, and you can contact me too. I just want to go back and emphasize that I'm really concerned how the city governance is working right now, meaning the changing of this easy agenda topic, non-agenda comment or public comments from the beginning of the meeting, which has been from the start of the city, just recently moved to the towards the end of the meeting. And I believe that's a blatant attempt to disenfranchise people from coming to these meetings, which I think three or four people in the audience right now. So, and then not recording the minutes correctly. So, like on public hearing topics, I'm kind of segueing away, but public hearing topics, you as a city are not recording public testimony correctly, meaning that you will mention the person's name if they give it, but not the stance, not if they're in favor of the development or opposed or no stance at all. And then any comments made are not even recorded on the city official public record, which is the written meeting minutes. And the YouTube's fine, but the YouTube is not a public resource. It's a private sector business. And for you to assume that that's always going to be available, I think is foolish. And I guess that's it. I will wait till the non-agenda or the closed session topics come up. Thank you.
That was the last speaker card. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on something that is not on today's agenda? That was the last speaker.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now move to closed session, and I'll ask our city attorney, Colin Kirkpatrick, to report.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll be convening into closed session for the item before you listed as 9A, conference with legal counsel, potential initiation of litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4, one potential case.
And we do have one speaker card. Brad Anderson.
Thank you again. I'm almost done bothering you. I just want to speak on this topic. I'm always concerned about being served. So hopefully you're not going after me, maybe somebody else. But I did write some comments concerning these closed session topics since we really don't know what this is. We really can't comment fully on it other than to say closed session topics should really be recorded when they begin and when they end correctly, not the walking time, and then any other resources. Like there's always non-reportable actions, and when you have a claim that recently got billed to the city, that's a reportable action, and I think people have the right to know, and that's all I have. Thank you.
We will now recess to closed session. Thank you. We are reconvening from closed session. I'll ask the city attorney to report any reportable actions.
Thank you, Mayor. No reportable action taken today.
We are now adjourned.